Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're taking a look at the newest patch coming to SMITE 5.19 Queen of the Gods. And the reason it is titled this is because we have the newest goddess, Hera, Queen of the Gods. So we're going to go over her first. You can see what she looks like here. She's got a guardian or a pet in the background, and we're going to start with that. So we're going to go out of order with her abilities and start with her ultimate because it's going to help everything a lot better. So her ultimate is actually Argus the Defender. Hera brings Argus crashing down at a location, damaging and knocking up enemies. On landing, he will attack the nearest target. She can control where Argus moves through refiring this ability onto an enemy, or if he has a target to recall him, so kind of like Calder. While recalled, Argus will defend Hera and attack anyone that gets close, so he can be used kind of like as an aggressive thing or as a defender. Get it? Argus, wait, where did we start at? Hera and attack anyone. Argus has a hit chain that starts with a normal basic attack into a ground circle AoE, slowing enemies by 20% for 1 second, and then into a line attack. So that's pretty cool. So it is an AoE, it affects enemies. Damage is 100 to 300 plus 35% of your magical power. He lasts for 40 seconds, which is a pretty decent amount of time. His initial hit is 40 plus 30%, his second hit is 40 plus 30%, and then his third hit is 60 plus 40%. And it does have a cooldown of 70 seconds. Now, I'm assuming, I do not know, so let me know in the comments if you guys do. I didn't watch the patch notes, but does this mean like you throw out Argus, he lasts for 40 seconds, and then when he disappears, the cooldown resets? Or is your cooldown going to be resetting while Argus is out? That's what I'm not sure about. If you guys do know, let me know in the comments. But he costs 80 and then scales up to 100. So with that being said, we'll go to the passive called Commanding Presence. Each time Hera deals damage to gods while Argus is inactive. So while Argus isn't on the field, his cooldown is reduced. While Argus is active, each time Hera deals damage to gods, Argus is healed for a flat amount, scaling based on Hera's health. So her passive, just by playing her, if Argus isn't there and you're hitting enemies, it's going to reduce the cooldown. If he is there and you're hitting enemies, you're just going to heal him. So that's a really cool passive. The cooldown per hit is 1 second, and then the Argus heal is 20 plus 5 per level. So pretty nice passive there. That might be one of my favorite passives in game because it just goes so well with her ults, and her ult seems like it might be awesome. So her first ability is called Royal Assault. She damages enemies in a cone in front of her before opening a portal for Argus to attack through. Enemy minions hit by this cone are knocked into Argus's path. Argus then slams his fist at the target location, dealing heavy damage. If both of his fists connect with an enemy, it deals 15% extra damage. So you can already tell Argus is going to be very predominant throughout her kit and what she can do. So she might be tricky to play. You might have to really use him wisely, I guess. So it is an AoE. It affects enemies, obviously, range of 45. Cone damage is 30 to 70 plus 15%. And then the fist damage is 75 to 255 plus 75%. So she doesn't have the highest damaging abilities. The scaling isn't the highest either. So I'm curious to see how she plays. This is going to be interesting. Polymorph is her second ability. Hera waves magic in front of her before sending it out. Enemies hit by this ability take damage. If this ability hits a god, it causes their form to shift into a monster. Okay. So it's a line. It has a range of 80. That's pretty big. You deal 60 to 240 damage plus 75% of your power. So that's going to be her highest damaging ability for herself, it seems like. The polymorph duration lasts anywhere from 1.2 seconds to 2 seconds. So that's nice. So if you're clearing lane, the enemy, they won't be able to clear lane. Well, they will. It depends on who they're playing. If they're playing like an Isis and they're trying to wing gust, they gotta be careful because they might get hit with that polymorph when you're clearing. Has a cooldown of 14 seconds and costs 60 to cast. And then finally, her Divine Shroud is her third ability. Hera shrouds herself in divine power, granting her a shield from damage and temporary movement speed that lasts as long as the shield remains. And I don't know what that is. If Argus is active, I guess, Argus shines with the same divine power as Hera, causing him to deal radiant damage and move at an increased rate. So once you hit this ability, you're going to get a shield that has a health of 50 to 250, plus 15%, or no, plus 15 per Hera's level. So that shield's actually pretty nice. It lasts for 5 seconds, and it grants you 15% movement speed as well. So a shield plus movement speed, can't go wrong with that. However, that is her only mobility in this entire kit, so that is something to note. And then at the same time, if Arcus is out, he's gonna get another shield, but instead of shielding him, it's gonna like produce damage. It's more of like a damaging shield. It's like an aura, and it's gonna do 7 to 23 plus 7.5% of your magical power. That's a weird number. And it's gonna give him 50% extra movement speed. So you get 15%, he gets 50. And the cooldown is gonna be 16 seconds, and it costs from 45 to 60. So that is Hera's kit. Hera's kit, very dependent on Argus, and considering that his her ultimate, it's going to be interesting. We'll see how this plays out, and that is her recolor there. Really, only thing it changes is the hair color and then kind of her outfit. So the skins for this patch, we have Shonen Spark Mercury. It's interesting.
Get antsy. Let's find some action.
Kind of anime-ish a little bit, not really. And then we have Cutting Edge or Cutting Edge. We'll say Cutting Edge. That looks awesome. It's like it's kind of like an EDM skin, but like a tech skin, but like I don't know.
Spies like me, we hack, but we also make a killing, figuratively and literally.
So I guess it is part of like that. Is it the mech skins? I don't think. I think it's kind of like the EXE skins almost, but he doesn't have anything like that in his name. Like Run.exe and Jag.rar and stuff. We have Omnitech Odin.
There is nothing to fear. We are the superior force, and we will show them our might.
Not a big fan. It just reminds me of that Thanatos skin with the Transformer one, and I didn't like that one either. It's not my theme, so a little biased. I thought this looked familiar. So this is Godzilla. This was the skin for the skin challenge, basically, for community to draw up their skin design, and this is the one that won, so I'm glad. This was awesome. The play on it is fantastic.
I will trample your town and eat all the radiation one num-num at a time!
So Scylla, the little girl, is dressed as Godzilla, and her monster, I guess Scylla is the monster, but Fluffy and Zoe and all that, Ajax, they're dressed as little civilians, and the little girl is like it's awesome. Whoever created it, I forget, you hit it out of the park. Shadow Eater Bakasura.
Hunting the living is so much fun! Ready to play.
That voice is amazing. Oh, that skin looks insane too. So we already seen one of these. Opwash had a Shadow Spirit Opwash, I believe, and that was so cool. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be based on the player card. And this player card looks fantastic, so this skin might be insane. And then finally, Hera gets her Masteries as well. Project Olympus. Muting players will now mute all audio sources coming from that player, including the map pings. We have some console UI updates right there. Odyssey points, fantasy points, similar currencies have been removed from all loading frames. Players now have the option to show or hide mastery. Some extra stuff there. So Steam linking, an option is now available for PC players to link their SMITE account to the Steam account. Linking is optional for now, but will be required in the future. And then decreased queue times. Joust goes from 3 minutes to 2 minutes, and same with Arena, and then Ranked Conquest goes from 12 minutes to 9 minutes. We also have some new cosmetic items, a disapproving Peacock avatar, and then a Hera announcer pack. We have a lot of announcer packs. In the Fantasy Point store, we have Prizefighter Mercury, Idusa Medusa, and Madame Darkness Nox. We have some bug fixes here that we're not going to go over. You can pause it and read them if you want to, and then same with the items, just bug fixes. Bug fix for the gods as well. I was reading early Shens there. Oni Hunter's Garb, so we have item balances. So it gets an increased cost from 1900 to 2100. God balance, Amateratsu's Divine Presence. It decreased the power buff on the Valor aura. It used to be 15 to 35, is now 10 to 30. So I believe her speed stays the same, just the power one changes. Freya gets decreased movement speed from 375 to 370. Mercury, I figured he'd be getting some changes with the Golden Blade. It's really not a whole lot, just made you look at getting an increased cooldown from 8 seconds to 2 seconds. So that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like and hit subscribe for more content like this. Social media links in the description, and thank you for watching.